Welcome back, everybody, to College COD. We are hopping into our last series of the night. I had to do a little bit of a shuffle to get here, but it's going to be a banger matchup either way. Dandro here, joined by Narski for Midway versus SIUE. Narski, welcome on in. How you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, it's been a great night of College COD, and now we end things off with an absolute banger matchup here for losers round 5, I believe. Look, these guys have faced before. We saw them in winners round 2. Midway taking the series 3-2, looking pretty comfortable, looking pretty consistent. And you know, it'll be interesting to see if this rematch goes the way of Midway again, or we might see a little revenge tour from SIUE.
Did it go all the way to game number 5 previously? But looking at the head-to-head, I mean, on paper, this feels like this is SIUE all the way. They come on into this 13-1. Midway's only 8-6. When you look at some of these map records, these are insane. Hardpoint 13-2. They hadn't dropped a map in S&D. They haven't dropped a map in the control. Whereas if you are Midway, you're kind of looking at this, you're like 9-6, 5-8. These don't feel very good when we're talking about records going up an absolute juggernaut. But yet, you mentioned it, winners round 2, they went up against each other. It was all the way in a map number 5 that they go the distance, and they're able to get there in a 6-4 on Rewind S&D, almost all the way to the round 11. So Midway, even though on paper looks like they're maybe a little bit out of the league of SIUE, they are still looking fantastic when it comes to the actual gameplay that is here. But you can see these are the records. Let's take a look at some of the maps that they're playing here tonight, because that might tell a little bit of a different story when we take a look at this map set.
Yeah, I mean, points of contention here would be the Hassie hard point in that map 4 if it goes the distance, which we expect it to. They have played there before. SIUE took that hard point, and the Vault control as well was 3-0 SIUE. So we have a different set of maps here with the Vault, the Protocol, and the Hassie S&D for the maps 1, 2, and 5. And having those in play might sway the outcome of this matchup just a little bit. I'm not going to say it for sure. I think this will be a very close one, all things considered. Coming into a Vault as well, I think a lot of teams are very well practiced on this. They have a lot of experience. They know how they need to be playing it. There's no surprises here with this map set. I mean, it's a pretty safe pick. But in terms of the history between these two teams, I think that it might be enough to sway it towards SIUE just a little bit. But that being said, I think that you pointed out very well, right? Midway doesn't have the most impressive record, but when it comes to matchups, SIUE is kind of playing into their hand a little bit.
Yeah, when we kind of looked at that last series from winners round 2, it kind of came down to this first S&D, because in that Hacienda hardpoint they had, it was 250 to 131. Pretty solid lead you're able to secure there in map number 1. And then control on Vault, the same Vault control we have in this series, it was a 3-0 for SIUE. They only lost that S&D in a 6-4. And then, of course, it was then in that Vault hardpoint, Midway, they're able to secure it at the very, very end, 250 to 235. So kind of feels like a series that maybe Midway just squeaked on out. If you're the Cougars coming on into this matchup here, I think you're probably looking at that S&D and you say, hey, we know we can beat these guys in hardpoint. We slammed them in the control. Let's lock it up to search and destroy. Let's not let it go the distance all the way. Let's try and get this done in a 3-0. You used the word revenge tour earlier, and I think that's a perfect example to talk about this. But Vault hardpoint kicking us off here in game number 1 between Midway Esports and SIUE Cougars. Let's hop on in, ladies and gentlemen, because it is going to be a bang out. So we're already starting to see some maneuvers over to P1.
Yeah, initial already going towards SIUE. Everyone looking to try and get that map control as well as P2 rotation. Setting that up first early is going to be ideal for these teams. So we'll see if they can soak up as much P1 time as they can. Break comes through. I expect it to be even. P1's usually neutral, and that's how it's going to end out here. But P2 is the name of the game, and no one yet from the side of Midway getting that rotation through.
And you can see number 7 spawns on out. D-Day makes that realization, wants to hold on in, does not need to push on forward. And I like this play for the cut, maybe find this early kill on the player playing Cat. You're able to get there. D-Day with a little bit of a heads up play here. You make your way to the point, you find another one, but this is going to give actually the spawns all the way to Midway. They're coming on in. Number 4 Zune, they're going to spawn on in. Midway already holding P2. SIUE, you had the opportunity to secure these spawns, and it was a little bit of a heads up play, but you don't secure them in the back. A team kill comes on in, but I don't know if it super matters. 4 dead in the feed for the Cougars. And Midway, you had the hole, but you get broken.
Yeah, I mean, that is a crazy series of events. We had, I believe it was E-Man go slip through the back line. He got spawns for his teams. They get in. And then, unfortunately, it doesn't even matter. SIUE comes in with a beautiful break, trading off each other perfectly. And a re-break comes in shortly after for Midway. We can see them holding this point. And now they can soak up this time. Rotations need to come in for new. And look at number 2. It's going to be Goins going all the way through towards P3 way early. Compared to SIUE, they've got one player, 1v1 in the back. They lose it, spawns go to Midway again, and the rotations are looking good.
Yeah, Cougars kind of hitting old there, and yet again, it's Midway with the spawns for new. I love you make that call out. Goins already going over towards Art, wants to hold that one on it. It's great power position here. You can look over P3, but also try and play for any of these cuts going towards P4. A couple of those tags will let you know you have been read, though. Somebody's coming on in, but as you have to back on down, you have to watch the minimap, and the rest of your teammates are getting cut on down. 2 players trying to flush you on out here. The stun check comes on through. The push on up. You find the first one, you find the second. A huge 2-piece for Goins to maintain you spawns, getting ready to try and set up for this P4. Have the Cougars been able to read this? It does look like they have. Huge time here on the P3 will get them right back on into the game and give them the lead again, but it's all about this P4. It's all about this money hill.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of trends develop here, or at least 2 completely different play styles, and I can see it perfectly highlighted here in the hard point. You've got a more macro strategic game sense from Midway, and that kind of brute force aggression coming out from SIUE, where they just kind of go in and rely on their gun skill, and that seems to be working for them pretty well. But you can see the points being pretty close for a pretty dominant, I guess, kill differential coming in from SIUE. We'll see if Midway can continue to try and hold on to these large rotations, these macro games, when realistically the breaks are so much better from SIUE, and we can even see their holds as well coming through here as well on P4. Midway really need to find their opening threads here. Try and find this break, because this is a money hill if you cannot get the entry.
D-Day having himself a map, 15-7. As I say that, really just making the map easy for the rest of the crew, and I fully agree with you. I think if you are the Cougars right now, you're definitely winning in the kills department, that's for sure. But I think you need to start looking at how you can convert that to hill time. And it looks like they haven't been able to do that here on at least the P4. A little bit of a scramble going on through. You're seeing some members of Midway back on up, trying not to let anybody on through. CH tries to maybe make some work happen out on the pawns, but will get red. Zune finds another one in the cat, as it is just a flurry of kills. Team kill comes on in, but you still gain cat control, which is huge. We'll let Eternals push on forward. And the Cougars, after a successful P4, they're now a little bit on the back foot here going into the P1. A strong opportunity for Midway to get back on in.
Yeah, trying to play his life in time. Unfortunately, not quite snapping up to that player in cat. Sin now, going to try and make the rotation through. It was actually back up to cat, so a little bit of a long-winded effort to get back up to the same position, but now has the flanking towards the backline. You've got to be careful about flipping these spawns out to P2. 28 seconds is not a lot of time that you can grab. You pushed up pretty far, but he finds 2. Might spawn them in the back of P2, which it does. So now you start to fight that uphill battle a little bit for the SIUE, but so far the gun's too violent for this team. Dolan especially with the 2-piece there in P1, and now they can just try and push their way on towards P2.
I like this out of the spawn. Sin is going to be the one to try and hold it on through. You will get caught on out, but that's great information for your teammates. Dolan's going to be here to find one. You go up top, cat, you find Zune. A huge pickup there. You rotate back on through. The Cougars making a read. They get these P2 spawns. They say, wait, we don't have to push up too much. So not only to get the P1 scrap time, you get to hold down here onto the P2 and a huge win on the point. You'll be able to find another one. I think the Cougars have finally realized how to work some of these slaying potentials that they are grabbing. It is just a runaway right now on the scoreboard. And it's not done yet. Midway Eternals trying to be able to maybe cut back on through, but you are just getting cut on and down here on the second set of rotations.
SIUE continuing to impress time after time. They've had these breaks and these holds, and it's going pretty well. E-Man, though, looking to try and get a stop for it, maybe grabbing some scrap time. Much needed at this point, all things considered. 60-point differential coming into this P3. They don't have the spawn set up yet, but SIUE in a slightly better position. A nice 1v1 off the screen there to kind of win that rotation. But we saw last time SIUE doing a great job of grabbing P3 time in amongst all the chaos towards the back fight for spawn. We'll see if that happens again. Finally, the kill feed turning blue for Midway, and maybe we might see some points.
P3 will spawn on up. You can see these players have already made their way towards Art. Going to this on the last rotation, and it was looking great until you got backed on down and you watched the rest of your team fall around you. Potential thing for here as we start to see Dolan make their way on forward. Thankfully, you are stopped on here. Eternals, though, a great push. You will get cut on down, but E-Man is there for the trade. You don't let them go ahead and soak all of this for now. You maintain the power position. Still about roughly 80 points away from the scores. You can see already the Cougars, they're trying to be able to push their way on through, but Midway is set up for this P4 right now. You find two, and you're actually going to spawn out. So the Cougars, if they can fly on forward, they might be able to hold this P4 yet again and probably put you on map point.
Yeah, this player now stuck in hill. It's a really bad death to have there. Zune, I mean, you've got to try and rely a little bit more on playing your life, maybe, but towards the back of the hill, now we've got the spawns coming in for SIUE. They've got the initial time. P4 going to set them up really nicely to try and take this map. We saw this similarly in the first map of their previous series. It was 250 to 131, and we're seeing a similar scoreline develop here. Midway desperately needing some points here. A solid hold would go a long way here, especially on P4. It's notoriously a money hill, but SIUE just continue to rebrand. They keep staggering Midway, and no one can get in and soak up that time.
Yeah, Dolan makes a huge play there, allowing them to get in on bottom, and he's just playing up top. Jumps onto the outside to kind of be able to hit this from two different sides. The players on point, they can't manage to do anything, and that'll give enough time for the rest of the team to spawn on up close, move on over, help break that hill yet again. Third set of rotations coming on through as the Cougars are on the north side of 200 points. They only need a little bit of scratch through basically this whole rotation to secure the map. If you are Midway, you need some huge holds here. Looking at P2 and P4, got to be the opportunity for you to get back on into the map. 3 dead in the feed for Midway, though. It's going to be just Eternals here on the point. Will get cut on down. And SIUE, they are starting their march towards ending this map.
Dolan and Sin have been absolutely phenomenal as that subby duo throughout this map. We saw it here again, a masterclass on P1. Still online, 30 seconds left, but no real map pressure again gained from Midway. Just too many players dropping. They can't find a grasp on how to handle these hills and these holds. And against the aggression of SIUE, they are paying for it here again. Dolan with a 2-piece, 29 and 14 for the map, continuing to fry out with the help of Sin, really supporting him throughout all of this. And P2 about to come online. No one close for Midway. It could end on this next point.
18 points, it's all you need, and I like this D-Day. You're playing in the corner outside pool. You're able to find Zune. You find another one. Eternals is there. Coins will make the trade, but I think the damage has been done as Dolan finds 2. You're bringing in the Hellstorm off spawn just to hold them on back. It's the final 10 seconds. SIUE looking good here in match number 1 as they are looking to take this one on home. They do it flawlessly. A little bit of reminiscence from that winners round 2 matchup. That one was on Hacienda, of course, where you're here on a vault, but 250 to 125 going in for the Cougars. Took a couple points there in the first rotation, but eventually they figure it on out. And they start absolutely frying, playing great fundamental Call of Duty.
I mean, I gotta say, it's an impressive performance from SIUE, but I gotta start talking about the future of this series. We saw this in the first one, right? It's a blowout on the hard point. Clearly, Midway can't match the aggression and the pacing of SIUE on a map that we really would. Well, I shouldn't say that because they did win in the first series on that vault hard point, I believe. So it's not necessarily all doom and gloom, but I can see where they fall short, right? It isn't that aggressive play style. Once they get things rolling, you know, you have Dolan and Sin just going full force into the spawns and into these hills, and they start slaying you. They really have no way to recover. They play a great macro. They're on the rotations. They're trying to play the holds and play fundamental Call of Duty. But the gunning is just a little bit better from SIUE. And I think that's why we've seen more success from Midway in this series previously from the Search and Destroys. I think that this is going to come into great effect. I think it's going to be on this control or this Hassie hard point for Midway to really stay in the series. If they can get to that map 5 and win this Search and Destroy up here, then they set themselves up pretty nicely to take the series again. But SIUE now looking towards this control and probably Hassie hardpoint to end this in a 3-1 would be my assumption, because their respawn is scary. I mean, they're fast, they're aggressive, their gunnies are hot. You really can't do much to stop them and slow them down if you are Midway.
I think that's a great analysis on potentially this series. I think if you are the Cougars, you're looking at this protocol and you're really hoping that, okay, we need to be able to cinch this one on in, because we know what we can do against this team on vault control, right? They win it 3-0 in the last series. Last time these teams met up, it was Hacienda S&D on the map number 2, and it was 6-4 going in the way of Midway. Okay, I feel like what you're seeing here is just Midway was finding in some of these maps a way to crawl on back. Now, if the Cougars, I think, can keep up some of this momentum, make these reads. Protocol is also a very different map than Hacienda, right? I mean, you and I both know this. It's Hacienda, you can kind of get a little mixy. Your subs can go to work. You can hit these routes, you can hit these flanks and timings, and really be able to kind of open up the map for your team. Protocol, it's a lot different. Your subs really have to work hard. Hopefully your flex is, well, firing on all cylinders. You got maybe another person who can run a third AR potentially. Like, these are the things you have to look about, especially now that not everybody's immediately dropping on down to that A bomb site just by default, right? I mean, I think start of the game, everybody was just flying at that bomb site. They were trying to get bombed down, and that was only thing they were trying to do. But now we are trying to start working towards B a little bit more. Kind of mixes it on up. It's gonna, I feel like, really come down to who has the strats, who has the ability to have those great mid-round adjustments to come on through. Because the Cougars, man, I mean, you mentioned it, they're firing on all cylinders right now. The gun skill is looking great, and Protocol is definitely a map that if you throw the wrong type of shoulder, you can just get absolutely blasted off of it. So hopefully, if you are Midway, you have a little bit of an opportunity here to maybe play against that, because you're gonna have to be rock type.
Yeah, I think they have a lot more breathing room here, especially with a change of pacing in Search and Destroy. I think the biggest thing for Midway is they just don't look, I guess, fast enough to deal with these split-second decisions that come into a lot of these game modes, like, you know, in the respawns. Hardpoint is always just such a full-force game mode, especially in a map like Vault. There's not really much room for thinking, slowing it down, trying to, you know, make up a strategy, adapt to what's happening on the map. Some teams are quite good at it, but it's usually a chemistry type of thing where you guys have played so much together that you know how you all need to adapt to a certain situation or certain play style. Where Midway strikes me as a more, I guess, strategical team in terms of breaking it down and looking what is going wrong and right and how they can change. Because we saw that they have that macro game sense. Time after time in that Vault, they were trying to get that rotation in early, and they were doing so successfully. If you looked at it, you would think that Midway was the one winning that map, because every time they were on the rotation, every time that they were, you know, getting the rotation, they would try and set up a hold. It just wasn't going the way that they wanted, because SIUE was just straight out skilling them on the gun department. Like, there's no easy way to say it, just how it was. But Search and Destroy, different beast. Protocol, the map, different beast, right? It's completely different play style, completely different game mode. So I would not be surprised if we see a little bit more slower passive nature from Midway here going into the Search and Destroy, right? We might see some head-to-heads on the AR department. We might see some routes try and be made. But I think the one thing about Protocol that you really see is that the big plays seem to be made from an entire team rather than that one person slipping through or making that route. It is possible, and it does happen, but we see a lot of the 4-man hits or the 3-man hits while one sort of lurks every now and then. It's not as crazy as some of these other maps that we see, but without further ado, let's get into it.
Exceptions, not the rules, as I always like to say. Yeah, you see a lot of people start making their way through this map just completely as a unit, like you mentioned. And I think there's a real opportunity here for where the Cougars, they might feel like they really want to put this Search and Destroy away. So we could see some aggressiveness from them. And there's a real opportunity for Midway to really set up some traps, set up some defenses to take advantage of that. But let's hop on in here. Round number 1. It's already going to be the Cougars on offense. We see a nice little spread here coming out of Midway. I feel like they're doing exactly what we were asking for them. They're set up in their positions. They're not moving around. They're not taking any unfortunate gunfights that they need to. And I especially like Zune here, just playing all the way back, looking at this long lane.
Yeah, he is very, very deep, trying to play this angle. I think he does spot Dolan. I don't know where he's getting shot from. I don't even see him on the screen. I believe it's Dolan from the side there, but he gets close the distance. First blood is found. Even with that passive nature, and this is exactly what I talked about. Midway, I kind of expected to be playing this slow. So far, it's not netted them much value. First blood goes towards SIUE.
think it was that player that's playing over towards Plat that actually makes that read on his Zune there. Goins will be able to make a read out of the top, and somehow no trade comes on in. Sin finds one. Finally, you throw on out. Goins does get found by D-Day. It is a 3v1 for Eternals right now. You see bomb going on down. You cut them on through, and you're able to get out of here scot-free.
Right, 12 seconds on the plan. He has to make this play. If he can get the plan on, then I guess no one's close. He can final this kill, get out. It would be massive. 5 seconds though, you don't get the plan. And that's a win from Midway. Eternal snatching it right out of their hands. Wow. What a nice play. I mean, I got to say, it's rare that you see those passive type of plays, especially in a 1v3.
No, totally. I mean, that's just playing the time. That's knowing the clock, right? I'm a little bit surprised and nobody from SIUE is trying to help look for that oversight, right? Normally, in that type of situation, you have somebody over by heli, right? You're trying to watch for that outer plank. You have another player in the back. Okay, great. You're watching all different areas that this player can push on through, but that just wasn't the play there. You take the planner on out, no opportunity to get the bomb back on down because of the pressure that you pose. Some great work there. So round number 2, Cougars definitely... and probably a little bit flustered after losing that one when they definitely should have had it in the 1v3, and it's already kind of answering back. Eternals after just winning that round, it's gonna bring the bomb back on over. Sin might have an opportunity to have a little just desserts. Won't be there, but you get some great shots on the player heli.
I love the play out of Midway. Just go straight for that fast approach. They kind of know that they're going to be playing slower here, but you get that play to get that bomb down, you're immediately in post plan. Unfortunately, the first blood coming through for Goins, and now you're in a 3v4 post plan for Midway. Sin trying to work his way up as well towards his back spawn, but the time is ticking down. Zune able to find one, a second coming in from E-Man, maybe even a third, not quite. Sin trading that out, so a 2 versus 2 is what we're left with 15 seconds on the clock, and now you're left in a 1 versus 2. Sin with the world on his shoulders, not enough time to do it, and Midway take 2 rounds straight.
All right, Midway, they are coming out swinging on this protocol search and destroy. I see Corn in the chat saying what a scam of that map number 1, but the map number 2, definitely not a scam in any way. That is just some clean defense, or offense rather, coming out from Midway to make that happen. You love to see it. It's a player playing heli, just able to hold down that lane and make sure that nobody's really able to move around. Midway feeling pretty solid. Zune going huge, already 3-1 into the round here. If they can manage to find another defensive round here, maybe a little bit more cleanly than the last one, they're gonna be feeling very good in this search and destroy, and definitely as they get ready to move forward in the series.
I mean, I do like what SIU is trying to do. They aren't trying to default to some kind of aggressive approach, right? With that, what we talked about, the 4 hit down to A on their offenses, or trying to hit something right. They are trying to match Midway's pace. Unfortunately, Midway is just executing it a little bit better. That round 1 was extremely close, and it was kind of down to a clutch factor. So maybe we'll see the turning here on their second offense, but it's going to be an absolute slaughter as they come into radio. It's going to be Goins, E-Man, and Zune. The whole team coming alive, 4 down, just like that. And Midway, really surprising us here in the search.
Yeah, not only are they like making it happen, they're making it look good. Even right there, you just hold on in all of these players. I mean, kind of a weird play, to be honest with you, from the Cougars. I mean, no surprise to see all 4 players go ahead and hit that drop to be able to push on through, but it's kind of, they all get stuck there. They all fall down and nobody really tries to make the exit back on up, and it's basically just shooting fish in a barrel. They all line on up. Midway curling up 3-0 in this search and destroy. Definitely surprising both of us. Now, if you are the Cougars, this is a crucial round for you. This is where you start answering back. You get a round on the board, you start feeling a little bit better about your chances. Here's Zune. Tries to make something happen in Dolan. You just don't find that kill. You get traded on out, and already it's a 3v4.
Yeah, crucial gunfight there. Thought he was definitely done as well. Jackal up close. Unfortunately, not today. And now CH in the back. We're going to try and make a play. Goins hard watching. Might get caught timing here. Never mind. CH gets caught by E-Man. Angle immediately picked up as soon as it's dropped. And now they're trying to push through the front with 27 seconds left on the clock. As a 2-man force, Sin and D-Day. Can they get it done? Sin finds one. Not enough for the round. Midway still going strong with a flawless streak. 4-0. Absolutely dominating the search and destroy.
Little crazy. I thought this was about to happen. It kind of, when we looked at Sin, I was like, wait, is this about to be kind of one of those moments where it's just trades on trades on trades, and eventually one team comes out on top? Thought maybe the Cougars were able to do it, but No, it's Midway 4-0 right now. I mean, if you're the Cougars, you got to do something completely different. I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown where after that round number 1, maybe just a little bit of a lapse in communication. Start working together as a team. I looked at what we saw in the end of that round. Great, but love to see it be with a couple more players alive. So maybe some more comms need to be coming on through. Cougars now on the attack. What's going to be the strategy?
Well, nothing's worked for them so far, so we're going to need a drastic change of plans. They're going for that A hit again. Maybe they push up through. They do get the first blood onto Eternals as a play deep back. I think they know where he is. Unfortunately, E-Man gets the kill and out with his life to trade things up to a 3 versus 3. Sitting still with the bomb, yet to get it down, and Going's going to take quick care of him. It's just disgusting. He gets aggressive again. Doesn't care. Knows that the angles are open, and leaves this in a 1 versus 3.
This team looks so insane in hardpoint. It literally feels like they gave the controller to somebody else. Like, This is not the same team we just watched put on an absolute masterclass on Vault hardpoint of how to just fire, right? Midway waking up potentially here in the search and destroy. The 1v2, the stun check's gonna come on in. Bomb goes down. You push on forward a little bit here, but look what Midway is doing correctly. They're playing as a unit. Right on out, D-Day finds one. You can't manage to get the snap to the other. Midway yet again puts another round on the board. 5-0. We might get a shutout here, Narski. This is uncharacteristic of this team.
Yeah, this is... I was expecting at least a closer match in the Search and Destroy. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Search and Destroy, clearly a game mode that the strategy goes a long way. And we've seen it, throughout COD history where Search and Destroy has played completely different hardpoint. The good hardpoint teams aren't necessarily good on the Search and Destroy teams. And we've seen these guys go head-to-head in the Search and Destroy. They went 6-4 both times. Midway was winning it. I'll give you guys that, but... at least not to get around like a flawless streak here on the protocol Search and Destroy. Definitely wasn't expecting it. And I must say, SIUE isn't necessarily playing a terrible Search and Destroy, and that RC flying for the top rope trying to get something done. Not going to happen. The first blood drops.
Getting found out. Dolan sitting back here on the boat. But a great elim on the RCXD that's flying at his face. Thankfully, your teammates are top plat, so they will be able to make some of these trades. But it's CH and Sin yet again. The 2v3, constantly playing from behind. Sin goes for the drop. Okay, you managed to break on open on Eternals. That'll even it up the score for you. You do have these 2 members of Midway in here. You have to start making some moves here. Player on bomb, you find it. The fuse goes on out. You have to win this if you are CH. You do. Finally. A little bit of teamwork, a little bit of winning those crucial gunfights goes the way of the Cougars. 1-5. Is this the beginning?
It could be the beginning or it might be the end, honestly. Look, it's a great round from SIUE. It's not enough to convince me that they've got anything going here in the Search and Destroy. They were still down numbers. It was a disgusting kill, by the way, just the snap from Sin. But it's not enough to convince me. You didn't have the numbers. It's a clutch round. It's a great round, but you've got a lot more work to do if you're going to take on Midway here in the Search and Destroy. Consistently, they've had the advantage, and they've played those advantages pretty well. So coming into it, still match point for Midway, 5-1. Let's see what they've got here on the offense.
One round at a time. That's for the Cougars. That's all you can really think about. Who's going to be the one to slide on forward? Open up some of these doors. Now, can actually give Dolan an opportunity to maybe find a timing. You just barely missed Zune on the other side of the wall. You're already getting found out, though. Can you slide on out of here? You do.
I mean, getting out with the life there is insane, to be honest. I mean, he was spotted. He was gone. D-Day as well, getting the first blood. So SIUE turning this round around a little bit. E-Man going up top, trying to make a route maybe towards this middle of the map. You can find one of these players. Maybe it opens things up for Midway, but so far... it's a pretty tight defense for SIUE. Everyone together as well. Ooh. The Cougars looking very, very solid here. But Zuno able to open things up CH with the trade. Maybe it's not looking so good for Midway in this round.
Yeah, Goins just get found as well. Puts you into the 2v2. Bomb is down. Final couple seconds here. If you can play your life, you're going to be feeling good. Dolan backs on up. Yeah, won't be able to grab there. It's just trades on trades. As SIUE, they find their second.
This
It's happening.
Everybody, I can see the chat there. The ears are starting to perk up. We're all starting to get a little excited. Calm down. Everyone calm down, all right? SIUE with a couple good rounds. Listen, I'm not an SIUE hater. Absolute phenomenal map one. I'm just going purely based on how these rounds are playing out. That was a great round. I like that a lot better. They had control of that round. They were looking good. Midway, though, only needing the one. Looking very consistent. Maybe we can make an argument. Nerves might start to get into play. This is losers. You lose, you're done. You're out. So, you know, pressure could play a factor. But Midway knows that they've won this series before. They know that they play good on the search and destroy. Yet to lose to the SIUE in this bracket with this game mode. So we'll see. We'll see how this kicks off. Eternal's already getting aggressive. Maybe trying to work for a first blood.
I mean, I like the aggressive play here, but with Bomb, it's kind of a question. You get taken on out, you're definitely going to be putting Bomb in a little bit of a rough spot, but shots come on through. Okay, on through the door. Do you find Dolent? It's going to be a little bit of a trade, and D-Day hits the wrap. It's 2. It's just Goins left alive on the retreat. A huge activation from D-Day. I fear the Cougars might be roaring their way to potentially another round win, but hold on, Goins, you'll be able to find CH over on the heli. The bomb is down.
So 1 versus 2, it is doable for Goins, but SIUE complete control of this round again. A different beast. I mean, completely different to what we saw. Sin, I don't think he saw him. Even up top on the heady. 1 versus 2, they are isolated. Doesn't win the gunfight, though, and Sin shuts it down. So SIUE with 3 straight. I wouldn't say full sail yet, but now it's getting scary close to looking like it could be a bit of a breakdown here. I'm not going to call it early, but maybe it is. Maybe better eat my words completely, but I mean, I got to say, Midway looking a little shaky here.
Potentially shaking, potentially breaking. If you're the Cougars, you gotta just take it 1 round at a time. Yet again, D-Day on that last round. Basically, it's the nail in the coffin, exactly what they needed. Activates for a huge 2-piece here, and it's those types of plays that I think will get you on in. It's what's gonna cause Midway to maybe second guess some of their plays, some of their timings. So for right now, I think they go back to what has been working. We see them just sticking on down, but Dolan, he's gonna be the one to hit the wrap. You find Zune.
And he shoulder checks that guy bottom stairs. So now they set themselves up pretty well. They move way down a player. Bomb yet to go down, but assuming A is not going to be too hard to hit. You got the numbers. There's a player down in there checking. You've got a very silent, passive approach coming in from Midway. As Dolan tries to work out his next move, calculating, looking to try and see where he can find that opening. Does spot the player back spawn, so that's information on 2. He does get spotted himself, I'm assuming, so that's probably calmed out. D-Day down bottom. Goins finally finds the trade in on that A site, and you've got 30 seconds to get something done. Midway desperately trying to stall out this round.
You do manage to secure the bomb, and Eternal has an opportunity to maybe find a good time. Goins is here on the spirals.
Huh?
2v2. I don't think you saw the other way. Wait, Dolan gets the bomb down. A little bit of a shoulder here. You slide on in.
Oh,
Goins.
wow.
Maybe a little bit too much on the trigger discipline. It's going to be Eternals in the 1v2. Can you make it on happen? No, you can't.
Okay. Hold the phone. What's going on here? I mean, I don't know what's just happened. Also, Dolan, by the way, whoever's died there in Spiral, I can't remember what both players were, but someone was Spiral, gets the kill, and then Dolan goes on the A bomb, checks it, doesn't shoot him or thinks he ran up the Spiral, but I swear he had a player up top Spiral, so he knew it was there. I don't know, but went for the bomb down. They get the bait and switch, and they get the job done. So, I mean, I guess there's not much to complain about, but wow, this could be a full sale, a breakdown of all breakdowns. But I will say this, in Midway's credit, all of their search and destroys so far have ended 6-4 to Midway. Yep. So maybe this is just rewriting history, you know? Like, it's just, let's get the score up, let's make it a little bit of a show, let's give chat something to cheer about. SIUE now dropping the ball a little bit as plant goes down immediately for Midway on this A side.
There's an RCXD from D-Day coming on through, so at least give you a little bit of information that they are down here, which you kind of already knew because Bomb is here at A, but start to see some of these players from the Cougars maneuvering around. 20 seconds, you got to start making some moves. Sin will slide on forward. Nade goes on out. Does it catch anyone? I don't think it does. Some shots going on through. You'll be able to find D-Day. Eternals find CH on the other side, and it is all just a waterfall of kills on the way through. To see the Cougars come back like that, Narski, that we just watched them kind of just all absolutely flat. I would have loved to see some work on some of the outside, but it's just all 4 players through big door, man. And I don't exactly know how you expect that else to go.
I mean, look, credit to SIUE for bringing that back, but I got to say, 6-4 Midway, again, that's 3 S&Ds that they've had against SIUE, and they've won 6-4 every time. So, you know what? It's just rewriting history. Wasn't worried for a second for Midway, and they tie up the series 1-1. So, a hard-fought Search and Destroy, what was looking pretty solid, 5-0 up, didn't quite look as clean towards the end. And, I mean, I got to say, letting that A site slip, not great from SIUE, but it is what it is. You know, it was a tough round 1. Maybe we could have seen this go to a round 11 if, you know, SIUE started off a little stronger in that round 1. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But coming into the control next, I mean, this is looking like a great series.
I mean, this is, I think, a little bit what we expected to happen. I mean, this is a very, actually, almost exactly what happened to their winner round 2 matchup, right? I mean, you have this blowout hardpoint. Midway answers back with a 6-4 protocol. We're about to head to a vault control. Last time it was 3-0 for the SIUE Cougars. Will they repeat history, or will Midway maybe put up a little bit of a fight? Maybe gone back to the drawing board, been able to make it happen. But we are going to go ahead. We're going to go to a quick break before that control. And when we come back, we're going to be continuing this series on. Before we go, got to remind everybody, if you want to be the best, you got to play with the best, okay? Head on over, go take a look at some of the Scuff products we have linked in the chat here, because we got Scuff, of course, the exclusive controller company of College COD, coming on in and supporting the league. We love to see that. We love Scuff here. And go ahead, go check them out. Go see what you can go ahead and grab. We're going to go ahead and do a quick break. When we come back, we'll be jumping on into that vault control. Welcome back, everybody, to College COD. If you're just joining us, you just watched Midway win a 6-4 S&D. We had some hopes for the SIUE Cougars. They might be able to come back from being down 5-0. But it gets shut down from a 4-man push through big door on protocol. But hopefully they can shake it off here, Narski, because it's vault control up next. And if there's anything we know about this team, they're pretty damn good at vault control.
Yeah, I mean, SIUE in their last series, 3-0 up in the vault control. So it was looking like a bit of a slamming on vault control. We saw it vault hardpoint as well, which was a different story to what we saw the first time they faced. 250 to 235 was the vault hardpoint in the first one, and Midway won it, mind you. But SIUE absolutely blitzed them on this vault hardpoint. Protocol Search and Destroy we just watched, pretty close towards the end of it, but Midway looking pretty comfortable. Now we're going to a vault control. SIUE previously winning this 3-0. I got to assume that they're going to do the same here yet again. And we're going to have to go to a Hassie hardpoint and see if that is really the thing that spices things up here for this series. I think SIUE look very good on vault. I think they look very good in getting aggressive, and especially in a game mode like Control, where you can set up spawn traps, where you can rely on that gunny and just continue to outslay and set them in that trap. I think Midway might struggle a little bit, because we saw that was kind of the issue with the vault hardpoint, where they would come in, break, and just clear everyone out of spawn very easily. And if you do that in Control, there's nowhere else to spawn. You're just stuck there. So, look, I'm expecting to see something pretty dominant here from SIUE. Maybe not a 3-0, maybe a 3-1, potentially 3-2. But I think that SIUE are going to take this map 3, and we potentially see Midway take a map 4 and go to a map 5, where it's pretty close. That's kind of my outlook of the series so far. But map 3 has to get underway, and we have to see how that looks first.
No, I think that's a great shout out there. What has me worried a little bit, though, right, is that when we kind of look at that map number 4 that we have here today, being that Hacienda hardpoint, that was the map that kickstarted that winners round 2 series, right? In the 250 to 131, it had a similar stat line to what we just saw on the vault hardpoint, right? So if you are the Cougars, I think that you can maybe feel pretty good coming into this control, and you're looking at that map 4, like you mentioned, and probably licking your lips at it, saying, hey, yes, we just kind of choked, we kind of bottled away the Search and Destroy, It's a-okay. We're not a team that gets Neslo'd. We are really good at respawn. We are going to come on in. We are going to fry. But it is tied up 1-1. Anything can happen here. Reminder, folks, this is a losers. If you lose here, well, you're getting top 6 for that Midwest region. But you would love to be able to make your way on to the playoffs here. Make it just a little bit deeper in this map. So let's hop on in. Let's see what the break is. It's going to be 4-man hit from Midway. Up through Cat, you'll be going on a little bit of a wrap here as you are on the attack on offense. Some great shots coming on out onto Dolan. You'll be able to get the kill. You find Sin, you do, but the trades come on in. But that is 3 dead for the Cougars.
Yeah, Origin's been good. Love the wrap there for Midway. Unfortunately, set back to the spawn, and now E-Man looking to try and push on towards this B zone. Traded out immediately by Goins, and now you can see CH in towards his cap position, maybe making some damage. Unfortunate gunfight there. No one really grabbing progress, but some good kills coming from Midway nonetheless. Maybe this opens up a site, or a zone, I should say, and A will be the choice. Already the first tick underway.
Starting to sack it. Very fast project here. CH wants to maybe be tip of the spear to fly on through. D-Day on the outside. Eternals will fall. A nice little 180. D-Day playing your life. And oh my gosh, it is just a full-on breakout right now. Sin finding a huge 2-piece. That'll put Midway back on into the spawns. You can see they're starting to move on forward. The blender is firing on up as you are starting to get spawn trapped. Goins being able to take down Sin. That's a great way to get this one started. And Midway, they're starting to make their way on out. Only a few moments remaining on this 8-point. If you're Dolan, there are a couple huge kills you have coming your way.
Yeah, I gotta say, Midway, great job. Stop that early. Do not let them get going, because as soon as that spawn trap gets in, it starts to get infinitely harder. Unfortunately, SIUE still grabbing a bulk majority of these kills. Only 2 ticks. Eternals with another round might be able to open things up here. Gets 1, maybe a second here momentarily, but not quite. Sin still doing the damage. He's got 2 just off the back of it. 5 streak as well, and it's a done round for SIUE. Looking very comfortable. Especially on that defense. We'll have to see how the attack looks, but so far Midway not really grabbing too much. They had that one moment in the middle of the round. They got that 2 ticks, maybe almost a third, but I mean, the subby duo, Sin and Dolan, are just so oppressive on this map, and it is so difficult for Midway to deal with.
Yeah, we see a couple of those wraps. I believe it was from Eternals a couple times, and it's just, unfortunately, it takes a little bit too long, I think, while you're trying to make this huge wrap all the way around to be able to get some of those shots in the back. It's okay. Yes, you managed to hit a timing. Yes, you might get 1, 2 if you're lucky, but it doesn't really matter if the rest of your team is dead and you're just going to get traded on out. It doesn't really result into any of that progress. So 2 ticks for Midway on the offensive round. Cougars now, if they can manage to get this second round on in here on the attack, I think that they are about to look very, very scary. It's going to be Sin going all the way through. You've made your way to the point.
See, now the first tick coming through. I think that's a great point. Midway just need to be a little faster with their approaches, but that's what we saw in the hard point, where it was kind of where they struggled. They all went towards B, thinking that that was the main pressure, but they've given up A in the process. Vive's down as well. Only 3 differential. Make it 2, but... Oh, never mind, back up to 4. So a whole wave advantage going into the B zone with 2 minutes and 10 on the clock. This is not what you want to really give SIUE. More time to work, more time to really slay you out of the spawn. And that's just not going to be favorable for this team. And already they're just focusing on the B zone. They're grabbing that tick, and everyone's through.
CH, huge 2-piece there. Sin finds another onto the outside. Got 2 players making their way through Art, trying to be able to look on over. It is just Sin and D-Day on the point here. So for Midway, they will take advantage of those close spawns. Answer on back. But you do already have 2 ticks if you are the Cougars. You have a minute 52 on the board. It's 19 lives apiece, so you're feeling pretty good. And I like this. Dolan, realizing you have time, just slowly start clearing some of these out. Control. Start looking on in. Maybe you can grab Art Control. That'd be a great way to start it as well. But Eternals on the inside, trying to be able to make something happen. Gets traded. Dolan, you might find a huge pickup here. It's the tag. You make the read. Wait, what? You make the read and don't find the shots?
I mean, Dolan's just doing donuts around him. What's happening? He's still going. He's still running. It's insane. I don't know what's happening, but Dolan's just staying alive, trying to play his life as best he can up here. Not quite going his way. But honestly, just being alive is creating a lot of pressure for Midway. Sin's now able to get through the back line, and they can do a lot of damage here. And already those 2 ticks on B, we can see why SIUE took this 3-0 in the first series. We're probably going to see it here yet again. A minute still left on the clock. Life advantage. B now underway.
Oh, gets a little bit of an overheat. 2 members down. Thankfully, you will answer on back, but it's a pinstripe kill feed. That will result in Midway still holding on in. It's Sin on the point. Wins a crucial one. This could be the opening you need. Nades coming on through. You hop on up. It's the only final moments. Can the trades come on through? I think they are there. The stacks come on in. The Cougars up 2-0 in the control, getting ready to move on over to defense. Yeah, I like to think that they're probably pretty good at vault control. I think they're pretty good. I think we can say that.
I mean, we can definitely say that and more. Look at Sin in this play. He's able to get 3 all by himself. Now the help comes in. CH is there. You've got E-Man trying to get the trades, but he gets shut down. Only really getting 1 in that engagement. That was all but done. I mean, not only have you got great team presence from the side of SIUE, you've also got this individual prowess and brilliance that comes through from these players. And they can just make those highlight plays, and it gets it done. 2-0 up. Now you've got defense, notoriously more difficult on the offense to get around. So Midway now fighting against all the pressure and all the uphill battle. Already 2 down, and they're going to kick off this round with a bang. SIUE showing they can really be the kings of control.
You're doing a great job holding back some of these players. A huge pick on the other side of the map towards that P2 side. So you get there, Dolan gets in some great damage. You see this Ninja Turtle sliding around the van. Thankfully, the trades are there, so that might be an opportunity for Midway to get out of this spawn trap. They're starting to get some of these close spawns as well. A little bit deeper for the Cougars. They're starting to make their way on through. Nice little shoulder coming out from Dolan as E-Man tries to snap some of those pre-fires. Eternal's holding down top cat. Does not let you move on forward. So the stacks are kind of coming on in. It's slow progress, but you at least get a tick at A. If you are Midway, if you're the Cougars, you can maybe slow it down just a little bit here. But clearing these players off point, that's a great way to start it.
Yeah, so much damage done immediately. A 4 down. You can just see how many kills go the way of SIUE, and it's enough every time they trade out to send them back to that spawn. So they have to reset. They have to do all of this time to try and get to the zone and make some sort of progress. They've only got a tick going. It's 27 seconds left on the clock. A 4-life lead. So far, Midway not really able to do anything, and as much as they have the Ninja Turtles on their team, really, they're an empty shell right now because they are not doing anything. They're not showing us anything. They're not getting the performance that they want in this control.
E-Man, though, wouldn't he be the one to try and make something happen? You see the Hellstorm come on through. That's 2 members down. Unfortunately, there is a self-nade, it looks like, from Dolan that will come on through, but Zune from the top road on Cat. You gotta win those. Sin cuts you on down. D-Day in the back. We'll find another. Only 0.1 seconds was on the clock. The Cougars, that looked pretty flawless. I try not to use the word flawless until it looks like it, and man, I think the Cougars definitely maybe have just found themselves an auto veto if you are going against them through the rest of this bracket, because wow, they are looking good.
Yeah, it turns out the Ninja Turtles not very effective against bullets. It's not going their way. They're getting absolutely pumped, obliterated in that control. It was tough to see. But look, I got to say, going up 2-1 now, I think you make a great point before we started this map, which was hardpoint on Hacienda has not been the strong suit from Midway in the first series, and now in the second series, we're revisiting it, and that's going to be very difficult now for them to come back off of that tough loss in the 3-0 control, and come back and try and win a map that they really didn't have much success on in the first series. I mean, what was it? 250 to 131. So yeah, really tough series for the first matchup, and now we're going into the second matchup for the Hassie. It's going to be a tough goal, but if there is a reality where they win this, which it is possible potentially, maybe the Hassie Search and Destroy is where they could take this series and potentially really knock SIUE out for good.
Yeah, I mean, Midway, they have a tall task ahead of them. It starts on this Hacienda hardpoint, like you just mentioned, which last go around was not exactly the best showing from them. So, you know, on this last winners round 2, it was because they were able to sneak out this vault hardpoint in the map 4 on the last game that pushed it all the way to a map number 5 where they went back to back, right? They then get that 6-4 S&D, so they come on through. The problem here, though, Narski, is that, well, the map that you were able to sneak away, you played it first in this series and you got slammed on it. And now you're coming on in here, map 4. Can you manage to do what you did on the Vault hardpoint in that series earlier today? Can you make it happen here on the Hacienda? I don't really know, because obviously if you're on this Hacienda map and you are SIUE, you understand how to play it, right? We all know at a basic point of how you want to play Hacienda at this point, but when you kind of tear up that knowledge alongside with their gun skill, it just looks a little bit scary to me. Or thinking about some of these things like P2 and maybe a player like D-Day on Lambo, right? It's gonna be really hard to try and get them off, or on that rock hill with some of these SMGs that are running around. It's gonna be tough to root them out of these money hills.
Yeah, I think one maybe saving grace is that Dolan and Sin can't be as successful potentially. Well, I shouldn't say as successful, but maybe not as oppressive all the time that we saw in a map like Vault. Like, it's really easy to get around the map in Vault, and it's really easy to make crazy routes, really fast routes. Hassi has a lot longer rotations. It's a bigger map. It was made for 5v5 in Black Ops 4. It's now trimmed down to a 4v4 in BO6. So it's just a really tough matchup, I think, for Midway, however you kind of throw it. But I think that you kind of got to exploit the fact that Sin and Dolan are probably not going to be as fast and as aggressive, and it gives you a little bit more breathing room. Not a lot, but a little bit more.
Hacienda hardpoint. Here we go. Map number 4. The Cougars poised beautifully for this map. You got to get it done, and that is always the question. Midway, they've shown some fantastic signs of life, but the respawns have not exactly looked like they've gone their way. They looked fantastic in that search and destroy. So this is the do or die moment. You would love to be able to secure this hard point on in to get to that Hacienda search and destroy. And maybe yet again in a game of 5, go the distance, be able to close it on out here. So a little bit of pressure on the side of Midway Esports. Let's get it started here, Narski. P1 spawns on up. It's going to be some early swings here in the top side as CH will be able to find one, but not convert it onto a second.
Okay, already some good kills coming from Midway on P1. Initial time being grabbed here. P2, I think we looked at here momentarily for both teams. But, I mean, neutral hill. P1 always going to be online, always going to be neutral. I'm just looking towards that P2, which Midway really need to set up for and get themselves in for. So far, SIUE looking a little bit cleaner, but kind of what we expect coming into a favorable game mode for them. And Dolan's got a very big task in his hand, trying to take down a lot of players with that SMG. The snakes are coming through. He's able to find 3. It's a massive hold from Dolan. What's happened there? Midway, absolutely zero idea. Oh my God, Dolan.
Dolan goes huge for the Cougars. Finds 4 in a row there. Looks very good. Eternals is going to be the one who kind of plays a little bit forward, trying to hold back some of those spawns. But CH cuts it on open. The rest of the members from the Cougars will spawn pretty close. You're banging this one on through. You have D-Day making his way through the cut. Finds you on off. So either way, a flurry of blows here on the P2. Not really a big, strong money hill, but at least get some points if you are each team. Eternals with a solid 2-piece already. You're holding it on through. Couple last final maybe waves that you'll send here at this P2 to maybe gain some of that scrap, but Goins is gonna make it hard. But already at the P3, you can see 3 members of Midway. They're over here. They've already set on up. Gonna be pretty tough if you are the Cougars to make your way on forward.
Yeah, we've seen it before though. SIUE pretty dominant on their breaks. We'll see if D-Day can be that opening thread, that tip of the spear here that they need, already contesting the point, slips on in. The player up top still not contesting him, does not want to give away that position. 2 plays in the back line as well. Dolan's going to be there with Sin. The duo strikes again, and they're able to find 2 to open up this break and make this extremely difficult for Midway. All that work to get the rotation just to lose it immediately. They need a little bit more than that.
I like this. You're just trying to hold all of these cuts as Sin and trying to do their best to hold top plat. You did your job, though. You found the 1, gained information on the 2nd. And maybe for what you didn't gain as much as you wanted on P2, you'll be able to make it up here on P3. Yeah, Midway, they made all the right rotations. They made the right calls. They had the setups, and it is just a full-on break coming on through. Last final 10 seconds on the hill. E-Man will surge on forward, but it's P4. This is what we're looking at right now. And the Cougars, they are already set up. They have already made their way on over. Zune is going to make it a little bit more tougher for them.
B4 alive. Midway trying to come back on in. Maybe they find 2. Never mind. Internals just dropping instantly. E-Man as well. Now trying to force himself through the front of this hill. Already a large differential coming through. Dolan finds a nice 2-piece to help us in as well to shut everything down throughout the middle of the map. Someone's trying to make a route. But again, what we saw in the control was a similar trend where that time's kind of being wasted. You're losing a play through the front. I mean, I don't know if it would matter quite so much. But every single player from Midway is just getting absolutely slammed in this hill, and no one can do anything about it. It's 25 seconds as well that'll go straight to SIUE, and a similar score is developing in what probably will be an anticlimactic end to this series.
Some great shots coming on out. This is what I was kind of talking about. This is where your fundamentals meet your gun skill, and it feels like that's just really what the Cougars are being able to rely on, right? We're seeing them on these money hills, be able to lock it on in, and it's just through some pure raw gun skill that they're able to hold. So it got a little bit mixy on the P2 in this first rotation. Let's see what's going to happen on the 2nd, though, as you're already starting to gain some of this time here on the P1, especially with D-Day making some movers here at the top side. All 3 members of Midway kind of grouped on up. It'll be trades coming on through, but I like this. If you are D-Day, just try and cut down a number of these players. You will get found on out, but Sin is there for the trades. But right now, it's a 100-point lead for the Cougars. This is looking a little scary, I think, if you're Midway coming into the 2nd set.
Yeah, so much time being wasted just on even trying to fight for P1. They've got literally no points to work with, so any points is good at this point. How many times can I say point that quickly? But P2 coming online now. They do have the rotation. They are going to try and rat this player out of spawn. I think they have an idea that someone's back here. You can see Eternal's trying to play up close. I think they know that spawns are going to come through. So it's going to be a kind of off the back hold. We'll see if they can get it. So far, it's going good, and if they can soak up this time, maybe it'll put Midway in a position where they can find themselves back in it.
Over shoulder from CH. Trying to hit through this cut here. A nade will try and come in up over the top, and it is just back and forth. Trophies will stop for this entrance from D-Day. You have all of the spawns if you are the Cougars sitting on this ramp side. And you're just getting cut on down. Midway trying to hit through the front, not going to be there. You get found on out. You'll get this last crucial 20 seconds here from the Cougars. Looks like it might be one last hit. No, all the arrows immediately turn to go towards P3. And I like this. The Cougars make that read, and they're flying on forward. We're seeing a big wrap from them. Actually, a double hit 10.
So many points. SIUE swarming Midway right now in the back end of this half point. Really, we see Midway making those rotations. They just never can hold against this team. It's just SIUE too good on the breaks. The Cougars just too strong, too fast to deal with. And Midway finally get a rebreak here momentarily. Maybe it'll be able to stick for once. Still a 100-point differential and a similar scoreline to what we've seen in the past on this Hassie is starting to develop here yet again. Dolan up top, continuing to make this pinch very deadly. Goins trying to play his life in the hill with Zune, and at least is lasting, so they can grab some big chunk of time. It's still a whole point away, a whole hill away from getting themselves back in it, but at least it's a reality.
And this is exactly what you needed. It was a huge P3 hold, but you gotta rely on your ability to break this P4, and that can sometimes be a tall ask. You can do it. Convert a lot of this time to your scoreboard. You put yourself right back on into the game. So you gain a little bit of that scrap there. So we get ready to move on over here towards P4. Zune, trying to do your best. Maybe find one. You were able to rip them on off. CH is there for the trade. E-Man's going to be the one to slide on forward. A little bit of a rough map for him so far. 9 in 20. This could be your chance to get back on into it. Goin's going to be the one to surge on forward. Try and play a little bit of a front side defense. Just going to go ahead back on up. And there is a Hellstorm from above. And okay. You find one with the pre-missiles. You find two more to break open the hill. That's going to be enough for the Cougars to cross the 200-point threshold.
Yeah, it's a massive break. I don't hate the streak usage there at all. Set themselves up nicely, especially when you go to a neutral hill like P1. It is going to be very difficult for Midway to stop them from grabbing the points that they're kind of looking for and they need here to finish off this map. At the very least, they'll probably be around the 230, 240 mark. So SIUE just setting themselves up for victory here. Midway trying to fight themselves away through into this series. They do not want to go home. This is for all marbles here. SIUE on their revenge tour, looking to shut everything down against Midway, and they cannot do a thing against Sin and Dolan, the duo. D-Day as well, having a bit of a game here as well on that AR. It's just everyone firing from the side of SIUE. The Cougars cannot be stopped time and time again.
No, I mean, they definitely looked at that first series, knew it was probably a little bit of a fluke where it wasn't necessarily Midway outplaying them, it was their own mistakes. So they come into this series with a little bit of fire in their belly. And after almost coming back on that search and destroy, you know, I definitely think they say, okay, we lose the S&D, that's fine, because they were looking at this Hacienda hardpoint, probably feeling pretty confident. Last final 20 seconds here as P1 will go away. We are seeing some players already set themselves up on P2, but I don't know if it's enough. Eternals on 48 HP. Regen will come on in, trying to hold the line here. Slides on out. That's a great way off the back of the nade. You know one's here, but it doesn't matter. E-Man is in for the trade. Turn your sights towards the ramp. Get some of these back spawns. And if you are the Cougars, you gotta start hitting your way through the front. A full hold here from Midway would make this game very, very spicy. When you're flying on forward, CH will open on up. It's a 2-for-2 trade as well. Finally, the Cougars will make their way onto the point. It's the final remaining seconds. One last ditch effort from Midway. Can they keep alive? They can. It's a ring around the rosy on the car. Close spawn for both teams. Come on in. Zune tries to make it happen. It's just not enough. The Cougars secure it in a 3-1 victory over Midway. They don't let it go to a map 5. They end it here. They end it now on the Hacienda hardpoint.
I gotta say, a very dominant performance from SIUE all the way through. The search and destroy could be up for debate. Midway with a very nice search. They went up 5-0. Did start to crumble towards the end of it, but didn't quite get there. They bring it back, reel it back in. Unfortunately, Control 3-0 washout. The hardpoint 250, 156 washout, and the other hardpoint 250, I believe, 125. So, yeah, look, Midway, unfortunately, their journey ends here, but a lot of potential in that team, I gotta say. Yep. They have the fundamentals down. They have what they need to do, you know, locked in. They just need to get a little bit better at working off each other. Maybe not making so many long individual routes. There's a lot of things you can analyze about that gameplay, but that's not really my job. So, you know, there's only so much you can say about Midway, but SIUE, beautiful stuff. They continue to fight themselves a way through, and Midway, their journey ends here at top 6.
Top 6 for Midway. You hate to see it in this Midwest division, but that is just sometimes how it works on out. These teams, they met in winners round 2. They meet here again on the losers side, and well, the Cougars in some styling fashion, they are able to clutch it on out. Both hard points looked insane. They looked fantastic on that control with the 3-0. The S&D, only area where they slipped up, and even then, they were down low. They bring it back 4 rounds, very close to bringing us to a round 11. A little bit of a slip up there in that last final round with a 4-man hit all through Big Door on the bottom side of Protocol. So you are the Cougars. I think you got to look at this series. Maybe take a look at these search and destroys, because it seems like it's the one mode that's really giving you trouble, which is a little bit surprising when we looked at that head-to-head in the record counts across these modes here. They looked fantastic, but hey, guess what? You're moving on to one more day of college COD. Fantastic series all around. I feel like that we are going to see some real bangers tomorrow. That is for certain. But Narski, that's all we got here today. So I'm going to kick it to you. Any closing remarks from your side before we get on out of here?
No, just make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST for the Northeast Grand Finals. That'll be on tomorrow, but it has been absolute pleasure, Dandro. It's been a great series. It was a pleasure to be here. It was a great day of college COD as well. So make sure you guys are here tomorrow as we have some more CCL action then. But that's going to be it from us, and we'll see you guys then.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow. Really good day of COD all around. Could not agree more, my man. Make sure you're checking out Scuff, the exclusive controller partner of college COD. We love that they are here. But with that being said, that's Narski. I'm Dandro. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, twitch.tv/collegecod.